this is Erica with Launching Legacies. Welcome to our daily devotional. Today we are doing day 4 of our devotional series on the W's of accountability. Today we're going to talk about when should we take accountability, right? When should we take accountability? And the scriptures I want to share with you are often, for one, and that we can find that in 1 Peter 5:7, and then also before taking action, and we can find that in Proverbs 13:16 through 25. Okay, so although I'm going to follow the pattern of not reading the scripture, although I know I only have one in each area, and they may seem redundant because honestly, this area is pretty straightforward. But there's a need for correction here. So let's talk about the often. Okay, often is just that. How often? As often as you need to make decisions, right? Because we talked about it, what we're getting counsel on is decisions. And so we need to have counsel quite often. Now, things that clearly we don't need to ask for accountability on or ask people about are daily routines. For example, brushing my teeth or taking care of my hygiene or things like that. But even there may be things in your daily life that do need to be, you need some insight on, like what's a good diet for me to be using if I want to lose weight, or what is a good time for me to be leaving the house in order to be on time to work. Now, those may seem like elementary things, but if there's a place in which you keep being late to work, you might need to ask someone about that, or ask someone to hold you accountable to being on time to work or following the right healthy habits for eating. And so it depends on the person and their issues or struggles. And so really there isn't a good answer or a really specific answer, but often. And so God says that, man should pray and never faint, right? We should always be praying. We should always be at least in accountability with God, and then include man as much as possible, because what's the harm in it, right? You don't want to wear anybody out, but you won't wear them out if you seek their counsel with the intent to do well. Now, if you want to lean on someone and be dependent on someone, that actually isn't a biblical principle. So you want to be mindful to use your accountability in a way that is appropriate and healthy, that does not lead to codependency, which is over a dependence on someone else for the things that you can do for yourself. So although we get counsel in many things, even in things that may pertain to our daily life, the importance of that counsel is to maintain doing those right things and then check in. And so then that's when we get to before taking action. So sometimes I have people who use me as a partner for accountability, which is perfectly fine, right? Because part of my work is to do it, but also I want to see people be well. So I don't mind helping people to be accountable in certain areas. And so they'll contact me, and sometimes I won't hear from people for quite a bit of time, and all of a sudden I'll hear from them again, and they'll be saying, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Well, this is what's going on with me, and I just wanted to check in with you because I made these decisions and this happened as a result of it. And often that information is going in towards a negative direction. Sometimes, though, surprisingly and very refreshingly, they've gone in the right direction. When, though, they've gone in the wrong direction and they've made some bad choices, my first question is, I wonder why you didn't call before you made those bad decisions. And they'll almost always say, I knew this was possibly a bad decision. I thought that I probably should call you before I went that deep into it, but I thought that I could handle it. And so now I'm calling you to help me get out of the situation. And I feel like that might be backwards. So I'm sorry for that. And it of course is, it is what it is. People make decisions that are not good for them all the time. So I'm used to that, but my thought to them, or in response to them, is, well, if you felt the liberty to call me now, feel the liberty to call me when you're in distress, right? If you felt the liberty to call me now, feel the liberty to call me when you're about to actually make the decision, because it's a lot easier to prevent something, right, than to correct something that's been a disaster. So what often happens, and the reason why I added this extra component to it, is because a wise person seeks counsel before they make decisions. That's basically what the passage is saying. Look, a person who is wise realizes that they can make mistakes, that they're fallible, that they're susceptible to sin, bad decisions, and just plain not thought out things. So actions. So in those places, a wise person says, hey, let me find out what so-and-so thinks about this matter. I'm buying insurance. I need to, hey, let me call my parents and see what kind of insurance carrier they have and how much they pay for their vehicles. Or let me call my neighbor and see what they're doing in the way of this. Why? Because it's just wise. Because they may know something that you don't know. And actually, we need to assume that. And so if we are people who are making decisions, we need to also be people who are humble enough to realize what we know and what we don't know. I mean, we're not an expert in everything. So we need to find someone who might have more expertise than we have. Even a little bit more expertise could be beneficial, right? And so we seek out those people. And when they're talking to us, we take the time to listen and we take their advice into mind. And we do it often because we're probably making decisions often, but we also do it before we take major actions. If you're thinking about doing something dramatic, get some counsel. Why? Because it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea because you don't know what that decision might result in the rest of your life. And again, arrogant people are the people who don't want to do that. And we don't want to be people who are arrogant because the scripture tells us that pride comes before the fall. So those who are arrogant are likely to fall. Why? Because there's a fall coming after their pride. It's just chasing it, right? There's a fall chasing you. I don't want a fall chasing me. I don't want that. I don't want to be a person who can't listen to people so much that I have to just keep falling down and live low to the ground, right? Because I keep falling over and over again because I don't want to listen. I just don't want to be that person. I want to be the person who can walk strong, tall, get counsel, get advice, and be leaping and bounding. I want the hind feet for high places, not the low places that is always near a stumbling block. And so if you want to be that way, if you want to be a person who knows how to make good decisions, then when should we be asking for accountability? Often. And definitely before we make major decisions, just run it by someone. Ask them to pray with you about it. Have you prayed with me about this matter? Oh God, I just want to bring this to you. I'm thinking of doing this, Lord. I want to sit this at your feet and spend some time in prayer and meditation about this, Lord, with you. I just want to ask you, my friend, what you think about this or what comes to you. And won't you pray and spend some time on it and get back to me? And then everything slows down for a minute, right? Instead of being so speedily making decisions, everything slows down until we get a response from counsel on it, right? Until we get a response that says, okay, got it. Remember, we're finding trustworthy people to be accountable to, and we're having people that we know will be able to handle those different areas, and then we're giving them the opportunity to do it as often as possible and before we make big decisions. And that's where we find wisdom there. And so I want you to know that we're praying for you. I want you to spend some time looking at these scriptures that we've referenced already. And so we'll give you that time, but let you know we're praying for you. And we'll hope to see you again tomorrow with another devotional. Until then, be blessed.